Bill Walter has led the SSA community through an unprecedented year. During his presidency, SSA did more than survive, we thrived. Under Bill's direction, SSA has increased benefits and services for members. Together, we have re-examined issues of diversity within our community, and we launched the Seismic Record, the Society's third peer-reviewed scientific journal. In fact, when you read our debut paper in TSR this month, you'll see those same forward-thinking skills at work in Bill's own research. As Bill's presidency comes to a close, I can't help but reflect on the Society's mission to advance earthquake science worldwide and the emphasis we place on our community. This emphasis rang true as we closed office doors last year, and it rings true today as they begin to open once again. We owe Bill our grateful thanks for helping the Society stay connected and focused on our mission throughout 2020, and throughout that time, continuing to advance SSA's goals in spite of the unprecedented challenges worldwide. Please join me in virtual applause thanking Bill for his wonderful service to SSA.
Hello, my name is Bill Walter, and I've had the honor and privilege of being the president of the Seismological Society of America for the past year, from April 2020 to April 2021. Yes, that year, the pandemic president. I'm happy to report that despite the pandemic, the Society remains quite healthy and financially strong. However, we did face a number of challenges over the past year, including having to cancel our annual meeting in April 2020 for the first time, and holding this year's annual meeting entirely virtually. In crisis and change lies opportunity, new ways of seeing and doing things, opportunities to make improvements and strengthen our science. In short, to broaden SSA's message, we are all seismologists. In normal times, we'd be meeting together for lunch at our annual meeting in a large room, and you might be hoping this address would end soon so you could go back to talking to colleagues you haven't seen for a while, or new colleagues that you've just met. Now, of course, you can pause this video to take care of other business or speed it up and play the playback to get to the good stuff. Of course, presenters are no longer trapped behind their podiums. They're free to change their backgrounds or even get up and go somewhere. So let's do that now. Here in the East Hills of San Francisco Bay, where evidence of the complexity at a plate boundary is all around us, creating this spectacular scenery. Under my feet there are shells fossilized from a shallow sea that existed here about 12 million years ago, and which has now been uplifted hundreds of feet into the air, one earthquake at a time, to create this beautiful scenery. This is a wonderful spot to think about our five senses that we use to observe the world. Of course, sight and smell, taste, and hearing are all very familiar to us, but maybe less familiar is our sense of touch, and particularly our sensitivity to vibrations. So let's take a moment and just close our eyes and think about vibrations that we can feel in the ground. The ground is moving all the time due to wind and motion from cars, animals, even the moon, creating an earth tide. It happens so slowly you don't sense it. This kind of sensitivity vibrations is common in many animals, and of course for humans we've developed special techniques to be able to measure it at very great accuracy. Many insects and animals use vibrations as a primary sense. Scorpions sense radio waves to hunt their prey. Elephants use sound and foot stomps to send messages to each other via seismic and acoustic waves. There's a whole young field of inquiry, biotremology, devoted to studying how living things use vibrations to sense their environment and to communicate. Human beings, the clever creatures that we are, have augmented our innate sense of touch with sensitive feedback seismometers, able to measure motions on the order of a nanometer. That's 100,000 times smaller than the diameter of a human hair. It's the size of only a few atoms. Quite a remarkable achievement. And with broadband seismometers, a whole spectrum of seismic vibrations is opened up for study. We can plot the motion of the Earth's surface as a spectrum, so we can show the displacement in meters on the y-axis and the frequency here on the x-axis. At the lowest frequencies are those Earth tides from the gravitational pull of the moon, where all of us move up and down on the order of 10 centimeters each day at a slow enough rate it's imperceptible. Underlying everything is the background noise of the Earth, caused by the interaction of the wind and the oceans and all of the natural and human activities. Hiding within that noise, and sometimes floating above it, there's a wealth of other possible signals that could be studied. Events like earthquakes, explosions, mine collapses, landslides, and some of these can be recorded hundreds to thousands of kilometers away. There's a wealth of sources, many of which have not been well cataloged yet. And analyzing the seismic characteristics of events has proven very useful. For example, the unique signals of a particular event type underpin our ability to monitor the Earth for nuclear explosions banned under the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. Humans are now expanding our vibration sensors to cover more of the environment, putting accelerometers in phones and all sorts of devices. And we're now developing our ability to sense motion in fiber optic cables that we use for communication. This greatly increased density of sensors allows important seismic applications, such as expanding the regions where earthquake early warning systems can be set up. We're also expanding our measurements of vibrations beyond the Earth and Moon, now with the NASA InSight lander's recording of Mars quakes, which we'll hear more about at this meeting. This tremendous wealth of broadband signals from the expansive sensor networks is now being explored in new ways, utilizing data-intensive computing methods like machine learning. While many in the commercial world are focused on pictures and text, as seismologists we have an advantage in studying and exploiting time series data signals to good ends. There's incredible potential to more rapidly discover and utilize natural and human seismic signals to improve our existence, from natural hazard mitigation to environmental monitoring. We are truly entering a golden age of seismology. We need diverse views and voices to take up seismology as a vocation. Seismology is an inherently international and community-focused activity. We need to share information from many sensors to locate an event, and from many networks to understand Earth's structure and tectonic history. In addition to reaching out to new communities, we also need to reach within our communities to encourage more equity and inclusion. We need to make the idea that all of us are seismologists a reality. Most importantly, I want to emphasize that in our age of rapid information of variable quality and truthfulness, professional societies like SSA serve a very important role in communicating trustworthy knowledge. SSA's core mission includes holding high-quality scientific meetings and publishing peer-reviewed research. SSA has very few paid staff and runs a lean operation. It depends on volunteers and the goodwill of the community to thrive. There are many ways to help and get involved, and I hope you will consider doing so. Finally, I want to thank our outstanding Executive Director, Nan Broadbent, and the SSA professional staff who continue to keep SSA running well in these challenging times. I want to thank the meeting organizing committee for all the work to allow us to have this virtual April 2021 annual meeting. I want to thank our BSSA, SRL, and TSR editors, and the many associate editors, and all of you that have continued to be scientists and engineers, to write papers, to serve as peer reviewers, and to communicate our science to the geoscience community and the general public. We owe an enormous thanks to all of you that have helped SSA this year, whether serving on a committee, the DEI task force, being a mentor, or nominating someone for an award. SSA's strength lies in its membership. I know I can count on you to help spread the message. We are all seismologists. Thank you.